morning. Let's start the daily discussion. First topic is regarding the Finance Commission's role in tackling state fiscal challenges. So recently the 16th Finance Commission has been constituted for recommending the devolution of central taxes and grant to the states. So Finance Commission is a constitutional body under Article 280 of the Constitution. Remember this very well. Under Article 280. So the Finance Commission appointed by the President at 5 years interval. And it is given the responsibility regarding devolution of central taxes and grants to the states. Because union government has major tax heads with itself, state needs the fund, center should devolve the fund to the states, and that devolution is done as per the recommendation of the Finance Commission. And for this, at every 5 years interval, the President of India constitute a Finance Commission. Okay, and the 16th Finance Commission has been constituted by the President. Okay. Okay. So this is the provision of the Finance Commission. So the RBI just published report, the state finances, study of budgets have red flagged the issue of the Finance Commission will certainly be asked to look into, like state reverting to the old pension scheme and unsustainable subsidy flowing from the guarantee or fee which promised at the time of election, regardless of the financial conditions of the states. Although the states' financial conditions are very miserable, but so the states are launching more populist program, which is making the state finance more unviable. Most of the states, because this year is so the Finance Commission will definitely look into it, because due to being an election year, government has been launching more and more populist measures, and this populist measure is okay. The RBI just published report, the state finances, a study of budgets has red flagged the issue of Finance Commission will certainly be asked to look into, like states reverting to the old pension system. So the new pension scheme was in operation, but recently many states, especially states ruled by the opposition party, are reverting back to the old pension scheme, and unsustainable subsidy flowing from the guarantee or pay which promised at the time of election, regardless of the financial conditions of the states. To maintain their popularity, the states are shifting to the old pension system, as well as so distributing fee beach although their financial condition is not viable. So this has been raised by the election commission, and this will definitely, this finance commission will look into this. So why is there a need to curb population in India? The fiscal imbalance, populism. Why there is a need to curb the populism? Rising debt between 2014 and 2022, the average debt to GDP ratio of Indian state increased from 22.2% to 34.5%, with populist states like Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu witnessing steeper rises. Higher deficit, the combined fiscal deficit of the states reached 4.1% of GDP in 2021-22, fueled by populist spending on free electricity, loan waivers, and social welfare schemes. Okay, so the revenue shortfall, that means okay. So higher deficit, the combined fiscal deficit states reached 4.1% of the GDP in 21-22, fueled by populist spending on free electricity, loan waivers, and social welfare schemes launched by the state government, different state governments. So, and especially the state governments run by opposition, they spend massive on these fee beach and welfare programs, which are putting a burden on their financial position, but without consideration for that, they are going on, they just go on launching these programs. Okay, revenue shortfall, tax revenue have not kept pace with populist spending, with many states relying heavily on central government bailouts or borrowing to bridge the gap. The state government's budgets are not adequate to fulfill these requirements, but they are still spending it. Hello, again. କାହାର ଓ ପେସ୍ ମେନ୍ ଫେବୃଆରୀ ହେବ, ଫେବୃଆରୀ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଥାର୍ଡ଼ ୱିକ୍ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ୱିକ୍ ହେଇଯିବ, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବହୁତ ଟାଇମ୍ ଅଛି, ଫେବୃଆରୀ ହେବ, ମୁଁ କାଲି କଥା ହେଉଥିଲି, ହେଇଯିବ। Okay, so this is the situation. Then economic distortions, investment decline, foreign direct investment inflow into India declined by 10% in 2022, attributed by some to uncertainty created by populist policy like price control and protectionist measures. Job growth stagnation, despite increased government spending, India's unemployment rate remained above 7% in 2020, the unemployment rate, indicating that populist policy have not yielded significant job creation. Market inefficiency, price control in sector like agricultural discourage, production and lead to shortages, disrupting supply chains and impacting consumer welfare. The erosion of governance, increase in corruption. India's rank on Transparency International Corruption Perception Index dropped from 82 to 214 to 85 in 2020. Corruption Perception Index India position dropped, coinciding with the rise of populist rhetoric undermining institutional checks and balances. Declining transparency. The Public Affair Index, which measures transparency in government decision making, showed a downward trend in several states with strong populist leaders. What are some of the populist policy taken by state which have aggravated the debate? Revision to old pension scheme. Some states in India have reverted to the old pension scheme, abandoning the new pension scheme introduced in 2004. So the central government and the state government, so many of them have introduced the new pension scheme in 2004, which is called the contributory pension. That means the employee have to pay and they will get the pension, and the state contribution to pension has been abolished. But okay, so that is more populist and employee friendly. Then the old pension scheme incurs indefinite liability towards employees' pensions, unlike the new pension scheme, where the liability is limited to the employee's serving life. An initial RBI study suggests that the old pension scheme results in 4.5 times more liability compared to the NPS, with an additional burden of 0.9% of GDP by 2060. This move is seen as a retrogressive, restricting growth and compromising the interest of future generations. Then rising states' fiscal deficit. Many states have deficits due to subsidy for populist measures like the free electricity. State average spending on subsidy is 0.87% of their gross state domestic product, with some states spending much more, like Punjab 2.35%, Rajasthan 1.92%. They spend this percent of the GDP on the fees or subsidies. How can the Finance Commission help curb populism? Performance-based incentives. The 15th Finance Commission proposal for measurable performance-based incentive is a step in the right direction. By linking financial transfer to state with specific outcomes such as improved health, education and agricultural indicators, the Finance Commission encourages responsible governance and discourages populist measures that may not contribute to long-term development. Because state governments always go on launching populist measure, but if the financially not viable, then here the Finance Commission, because what they depend upon the center for the financial requirement, the Finance Commission may go for this that performance based incentive. Those states which perform well, they will be getting more allocation from the state, from the center, than the states which launch this populist measure and in performance they are not that encouraging. Okay, under Article 283 of the Constitution, apart from recommending the liberalization of taxes and the granting aid to the states, the Finance Commission may be asked by the center to look into any other issue in the interest of the sound finances. Objective criteria for populist measures. While the categorization of schemes as populist and non-populist may be challenging, the Finance Commission can work on developing objective criteria that take into account the diverse developmental needs of different states. This could require collaboration between the center and the state to arrive at a consensus on what constitutes populist expenditure. Fiscal efficiency parameters. The Finance Commission can give more weightage to fiscal efficiency in its criteria for transfer by emphasizing fiscal consolidation and measuring the tax effort of states. The Finance Commission can encourage responsible financial management. This can act as a deterrent to states resorting to populism without considering their fiscal capacity. The 15th Finance Commission gave only 2.5% weightage to the fiscal efficiency as measured by tax effort, own tax to gross state domestic product ratio. This could be reviewed by the 16th Finance Commission. The 15th Finance Commission gave only 2.5% of weightage to the fiscal efficiency as measured by the tax efforts. One own tax to gross state domestic product ratio. This could be reviewed by the 16th Finance Commission. Public awareness. The Finance Commission can play a role in creating public awareness about the consequences of populist measures by highlighting the strains on finances that fees create and the long-term impact on economic growth. The Finance Commission can contribute to inform public discourse, putting pressure on political parties to adopt responsible fiscal policies. Stress on future implications. The Finance Commission can draw attention to the long-term consequences of the populist measures, such as rising state debts and the burden passed on to the future generation. This could involve recommending measures that prevent states from borrowing beyond their capacity and ensuring that fiscal financial decisions align with sustained development goal. Then consensus building. While consensus between the center and the state on controlling populist expenditure may be challenging, the Finance Commission can act as a mediator and facilitator in the fostering dialogue. By promoting cooperative federalism and encouraging open discussion on fiscal matters, the Finance Commission can contribute to a more collaborative approach to financial governance. Regular review and recommendations. The Finance Commission can continually review the financial health of state and make periodic recommendations based on the evolving economic scenario. This allows for flexibility in addressing emerging challenges, including the impact of external factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and in conclusion, so a state's populism should be funded by its own taxpayers, not others. Because when the center gives the fund, this fund comes from the taxpayer of the entire country, not from the taxpayers of the particular state. If the state Okay, so a state populism should be funded by its own taxpayer, not others. The RBI suggests that fiscal transfer should be tied to reform and fiscal responsibility. If the state chooses populism and borrow without funding, it should bear the consequences. That means, the state should learn populism, and in the long run, it must bear the consequences of launching such populism, because a day will come when it will not be able to manage its finances viably. Then that electronic soil. Recently, researchers from the Linköping University in Sweden have developed electronic soil that can speed up the growth of plant in hydroponic space. What is this electronic soil? The electronic soil developed in a novel conductive cultivation substrate tailored especially for hydroponic system. Unlike traditional substances like mineral wool, which are non-biodegradable and manufactured using energy-intensive processes, e-soil is composed of cellulose and biopolymer blended with a conductive polymer known as the PEDOT, poly-3,4-ethylene diphene. This innovative blend of materials allow the stimulation of root system in plants through low power electrical currents. Significance: e-soil offers the advantage of significantly lower energy consumption and eliminates the risk associated with high voltage system. The significance of the e-soil lies in the ability to enhance the growth of plants, as evidenced by a study showing 50% increase in the growth rate of barley seedling cultivated in hydroponic system using this technology. Hydroponics coupled with e-soil can be potentially helpful in addressing global food demands, especially in the urban setting where arable land is limited. This is the hydroponic system where the plant is grown in the water medium. There is no without using the soil. So without using soil, plants are grown. So this is the speciality of the hydroponics system of agriculture. What is hydroponics? Hydroponics is a method of growing plants in a water-based nutrient-rich solution in a soilless media. It does not use soil. Instead, the root system is supported using an inert medium such as perlite, rock wool, clay pellets, peat moss, and vermiculture. The fundamental is to allow the plant root to come in direct contact with the nutrient solution while also having access to oxygen, which is essential for proper growth. This is the technology of the hydroponics. Advantages: land and water efficient. The hydroponics farming technology with closed water loop system is a viable option for farmers with limited access to land and water. Suitable for urban area, the significance of soilless system increases manifold when it comes to urban and peri-urban area where the arable land is polluted. Lower resource consumption. Lower and more efficient resource consumption allows these alternative farming techniques to be adopted by a variety of stakeholders. High yield. So according to the Food and Agricultural Organization, the vegetable yield of soilless system is 20 to 25% higher than in traditional system, as the number of plants per square meter is higher. The drawbacks: much time and attention required. The water needs to be replaced at regular interval. The standing or recirculating water makes it easier for plant disease to spread if pathogens enter the water system. Water and electricity intensive. Water and electricity are the two major factors in hydroponics farming. In absence of adequate water supply or stable electricity, the hydroponic system would not thrive well. Okay, so but this is the new system of agriculture, especially suited for the urban areas where land is scarce. Next news about the Orli tribe. Indigenous Orli tribe living in the Sanjay Gandhi National Park in Maharashtra teaches a lesson about peaceful coexistence with leopards. So they live peacefully with the leopards. Okay, so they are an Adivasi indigenous tribe who live in the mountainous coastal. Okay, so mountainous coastal region and bordering indigenous of Gujarat and Maharashtra. The word Warli is derived from the word Warla, which means piece of land. Language: the Warli people speak Warli and or Warli, an Indo-Aryan language. The language is typically classified as Marathi, but it is also known as the Konkani or the Bhil. Culture: they have their own animistic beliefs, way of life, customs, traditions. Okay, so tradition, and they have adopted many Hindu beliefs. The Warli culture is centered on the concept of mother nature, and natural element are frequently depicted as focal points in the Warli painting. The Warli tribe values Fakwat as well as god, goddesses and ritual culture. They use painting to depict their traditional way of life, customs and traditions. The majority of these paintings are created by women. Style and attire: the Warli tribe women wear a longden that is worn until the knee and is typically a 1 yard sari. The Maharashtrian rural regions influence the sari. The knee length draping resembles the Maharashtrian sari draping style. Festivals: the Bohda is a 3-day mask festival held by the Warli tribes. During this celebration, mask owners wear these masks and perform several times. Dance and music: the Warli tribes perform the tarpa dance along with the tarpa music instruments. They usually perform in groups, one person playing music with a tarpa instrument and the rest of the people form a circle keeping. Okay, so they usually perform in groups. One person play music with the tarpa instrument, and the rest of the people form a circle, keeping the musician in the center and dance with the people. This is their method. Then direct to mobile that D2M technology. Indian telecom operators have asked the government to auction the spectrum that will be used for direct to mobile technology services. What is this technology? The science behind the direct to mobile is similar to that of an FM radio, where a receiver within a device can tap into different radio frequencies. This new age technology is a combination of broadband and broadcast that uses mobile phone to capture territorial digital TV signals. Using the direct to mobile multimedia content including live TV matches can be streamed to phones directly without using the internet. They can be directly accessed by the phones. The direct to mobile can ensure emergency alert are delivered directly, reliably and without dependence on internet cellular networks. Disaster management audio content is delivered directly and authentically in a targeted manner. With direct to mobile, government can broadcast citizen centric information. This approach benefits consumers by reducing their reliance on internet data consumption for staying informed and entertained. Challenges involved, it is still in the development stage. The biggest challenge in front of the government is to bring different stakeholders including telecommunication or world in launching direct to mobile tech on a wide scale. Then the Karman line lack a specific national demarcation resembling the concept of international water. About the Karman line, located at 100 kilometers, 62 miles above sea level, it is an imaginary line that demarcates the Earth's atmosphere from space. It was established in 1960 by a record-keeping body called the Federation Aeronautico Internazionale (FAI). It was named after the aerospace pioneer Theodore von Karman. Though not all scientists and spacefarers accept it, for example, the Federal Aviation Administration of NASA and the USA military place in the line between outer space and the atmosphere at 80 kilometers above the Earth's surface. A majority of the countries and space organizations recognize this boundary between Earth, sky, and space. It is based on physical reliability in the sense that it roughly marks the altitude where a traditional aircraft can no longer effectively fly. Anything traveling above the Karman line needs a propulsion system that does not rely on lift generated by Earth's atmosphere. The air is simply too thin that high off. In other words, the Karman line is where the physical law governing a craft's ability to fly shift. Especially it is used in the aircraft flying. Anyone who crosses this anyone who crosses this line qualify as an astronaut. How do you need? Why do we need a Karman line? In 1967, Outer Space Treaty said that space should be In 1967, Outer Space Treaty said that space should be accessible to all countries and can be freely and scientifically investigated. Defining a legal boundary of what and where space can help avoid disputes and keep track of the space activity and human space travel. The next topic is the UN Statistical Commission. Recently, India started its 4-year term as a member of the United Nations Statistical Commission. About the UN Statistical Commission, it was established in 1947 and is the highest body of the global statistical system. It brings together the chief statisticians from member states from around the world. Functions: it is the highest decision-making body for international statistical activities, responsible for setting statistical standards and the development of concept. of concept and methods, including their implementation at the national and international level. Because statistics is used in development. Okay, because this is the mechanism through which collecting information. So okay, so it is the highest decision-making body of international statistical activities, responsible for setting statistical standards and development of concept and methods, including their implementation at the national and international level. Because statistics help in development, because statistical data collected so facilitate in formulating plans and policy for the government, and that led the government to chalk out the strategy for development. And this is where so the role of the statistical that statistics and the national and international level. So as it is being done in the national level, similarly the same issue is also done at the international level, and this is the importance of the international or UN Statistical Commission. The Statistical Commission oversees the work of the United Nations Statistics Division, and it is the functional commission of the UN Economic and Social Council. Membership, the Commission consists of 24 members country of the United Nations, elected by the United Nations Economic and Social Council based on an equitable geographical distribution according to the following patterns: 5 members from African states, 4 members from Asia Pacific states, okay. So 5 members from Asia African states, 4 members from the Asia Pacific states, 4 members from Eastern European states, 4 members from the Latin American and the Caribbean states, 7 members from the Western European and other states. The term of office of members is 4 years. India was a member of the Statistical Commission last in 2004, and the country is returning to the UN agency after a gap of 2 decades. Okay, so 2 decades. Headquarter is at New York. Okay, the Chandaka Dampada Wildlife Sanctuary, as a first, the Forest Department of Odisha has planned a nocturnal trail of people, especially students and researchers, in the Chandaka Dampada Wildlife Sanctuary. About Chandaka Dampada Wildlife Sanctuary location, it lies partially within the Khurda and partially in Cuttack district of Odisha. Okay, so it is nestled in the Khurda upland of the northeastern Ghats Biotic region, spread over 193.39 square kilometer of rolling table land and small swirling hillock. It is a wildlife sanctuary since August 1982. It is known for the successful conservation of elephants, which is the principal species here. So this is called the Chandaka Dampada Wildlife Sanctuary, but this is also the elephant reserve in the state. Vegetation. Okay. So the flora diversity of the sanctuary is distributed in 6 types, which include secondary moist miscellaneous semi-evergreen forest, moist the Kannadaga forest, coastal sal forest, thorny bamboo brakes, planted ticks and Epotorium crops. That Scalenia carpa is a species of these in the family legumes. They have a self-supporting growth from, they have compounded broad leaves. Individual can grow up to 30 meters. There are 2 water reservoirs, Derasa Dam and the Jhumka Dam, situated within the sanctuary. Flora, the main tree species are the Kochila, Kalicha, Bello, Kangada, Giringa, Sunari, Shala, Kumbi, Jamu, Karanja, teak and Siddha. Fauna, apart from elephants, other mammals include leopard, chital, barking deer, mouse deer, wild pig, common langur, rhesus monkey, small Indian civet, etc. Prominent bird of the sanctuary are the peafowl, red jungle fowls, crested serpent eagle, great horn owl, black headache oriole, etc. It is in the outskirts of Bhubaneswar and is a great place for enjoyment for the people of the capital region. Okay, so so then coming to the question, explain the numerous aspects of Indian secularism. Okay, explain the numerous aspects of Indian secularism. Also discuss how Indian secularism is distinct from Western secularism. Secularism means separation of religion from political, economic, social and cultural aspect of life. Religion being treated as a purely personal matter. However, Indian secularism is a unique concept that has evolved over time and is rooted in the country's diverse religious and cultural fabric. So, Indian, that is peculiar to. Okay, so by constitution declare India as a secular country, but Indian secularism is something unique and different than the secularism promoted by the other countries. Fine. So secularism means separation of religion from political, economic, social, cultural aspect of life. Religion being treated as a purely personal matter. However, Indian secularism is a unique concept that has evolved over time and is rooted in the country's diverse religious, cultural, and social fabric. Okay, so numerous aspects of Indian secularism, mutual respect, as per Dr. Radhakishan, Indian philosophy of secularism located to Sarva Dharma Samanava, Upanishadic dictum. Okay, so these are actually mutual respect for all religions, but unlike the Western secularism. For example, the Ajmer Sharif Dargah in Rajasthan, which is a shrine dedicated to the Sufi saint Mohiuddin Chishti, visited by the people of all faith, including Hindus. The firmly rooted in the India's unique circumstances, Indian secularism owes its origin from Indian socio-cultural and historical paradigm. India's remarkable religious diversity and deeply religious nature of Indian shaped the Indian secularism. State neutrality. Indian secularism requires the state to maintain neutral towards all religion and to not interfere in religious matters. This means that the state cannot promote or favor any religion, nor can it discriminate against any religion. For example, Hajj subsidy and maintenance of Hindu temples by the state. So state gives subsidy for the pilgrimage for conducting their uh, Hajj, especially the Muslims. Okay. For example, protection of minority rights. Indian secularism emphasizes the protection of minority rights. State ensures that minorities enjoy the same rights and opportunity as the majority community. For example, India has dedicated body a National Commission for Minority for protection of minority rights. Different Indian and Western secularism. So Western secularism, it embodies a negative concept of secularism, a strict separation between religion and state. In India, it embodies a positive concept of secularism, equal respect for all religion or equal protection of all religion. So Western secularism, it holds the principle of strict neutrality, non-interference in the affairs of each other. It holds the, in Indian context, it holds the principle of principled distance, interference of the state as and when required to uphold the constitutional values. In the Western concept, no public policy can be solely based on religion, as religion is completely a private matter. Then coming to in India, public policy will also be made on religious issue if there is a need to do so. Then in the Western concept, a single unified code of law is used to dispense justice regardless of the religious background. Then in India, certain personal law, like the Muslim personal law of different religion boards are also considered while dispensing justice. That is the difference between Indian secularism and Western secularism. So coming to the conclusion, Indian secularism like a beautiful tapestry where different religions are woven together in equity and harmony. It is unique in its approach, respecting each religion while keeping the state separate. This allows everyone to freely practice their beliefs without discrimination. Indian secularism celebrates diversity, protecting minority rights and fostering unity. It is a masterpiece of religious tolerance and inclusivity, making India a shining example of coexistence. Sarma Dharma Samadbhava. Okay. Then come to the following statement. Immediate IMPS, immediate payment service, RuPay, unified payment interface, international money transfer, cryptocurrency. How many of these above mentioned area does the National Payment Corporation in India have a role? So in the first three. Okay. So what are the this IMPS, RuPay and unified payment interface. So that this NPCI play its role. So answer will be B. Then which of the following is the primary objective of the scheme for residential education for students in higher schools in the targeted area? Shrestha scheme. Shrestha scheme aims to bridge the gap of educational opportunity for students from scheduled caste and targeted area. So answer is C. Which with reference to the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957, amended recently, consider the following statement. It aims to promote exploration and sustainable development of mineral resources, right? Only major minerals like iron ore and coal are granted through a mining lease under the MMDR Act. 2 is incorrect, but 1 is correct. So consider the following statement: shipping is the cheapest and most efficient method of transporting goods over long distance, right? The water of Indian Ocean carry approximately 80% of the world's oil, right? Malacca Strait and the Hormuz Strait represent in Indian Ocean are narrow passages, also known as the choke points. All the three are correct. Which of the following are considered as neuropsychotropic disorder? Depression, bipolar disorder, dementia, malaria. So out of this, 1, 2, 3. So are called as neuropsychiatric disorder, but not malaria. Malaria is a disease by the malaria that's plasmodium. Okay. Consider the following statement with response to the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Nidhi PM Kisan scheme. It is primarily aims to increase agricultural productivity and production. That is, it is a support system. The payment under the scheme is based on types of crops grown and types of fertilizer applied for the crops. No, both are incorrect here. Okay, it is not. It is an income support scheme for the farmer, not to increase agricultural productivity in the production directly but indirectly. So both are incorrect. Consider the following statement: there is no provision in India to declare any natural disaster as a national disaster. It is there. Okay, natural disaster. So that is okay. So correct. A disaster can be declared a calamity or rare severity if the disaster induced by harsh weather conditions. So only one is correct. Two is incorrect. Which of the following is the core strategy of Project Tiger for tiger conservation? So near field, it aims to reintroduce tiger in area where they have become extinct. No. It aims to establishment of the network of tiger reserves with protected core area and buffer zone. Right, B is the right answer. Consider the following statement: near field communication NFC technology used in UPI tap and pay has a limited range. Right. Near field communication technology ensures secure transmission, transaction initiations and prevents accidental payment. Here both 1 and 2 are correct. Consider the following statement about the Sikki grass. Sikki grass belong to the Giganodis grass family. That is right. The grass grow indigenously in a Tarai regions, Uttar Pradesh only. No. Sikki got the geographical indication tag in 2018. So here 1 and 3 are correct. 2 is incorrect. So keep on watching regularly to update yourself.